we're going to do a rack of lamb. With that, we're going to do the two traditional side dishes, the bean salad and the potato salad. And to make it easier, I've made very small incisions so I can pull it off in strips. And then when you buy your rack of lamb from the butcher, ask your butcher to just cut the bone here so it's easier to cut it up in the end when you braise it as a whole piece. So just seasoning the piece of meat. You can see the nice marbling on this lamb. Beautiful. Chop a chili in as well. The chili is optional. This I like the heat, so, and it doesn't really burn you. It just adds a little bit of heat to the marinade. All right. What I do with the marinade: cup of white wine. Put some seasoning of pepper. Scoop up all of the good stuff here. Then a bit of soy sauce. The soy sauce will caramelize nicely when we fry the chops, and then I put some olive oil. So I also add a bit of coriander. It releases the flavors and also, of course, sticks to the meat better if it's ground up. You can use half a tablespoon. Not too much, it's quite an overbearing flavor. Okay, so then, pieces of meat. The whole idea is to turn them all the time. So once you put them in marinade, you have to turn them all the time. Lamb works very well with garlic and rosemary. It's a Greek thing. I add the soy sauce because I like the caramelization, the sweetness that it brings. It's a tanginess that comes when you fry the meat with the soy sauce. So what I like to do is put the meat in a bag, then you get much better contact with your marinade, and you can massage the meat as well. Rack of lamb, fat side first. And then we've got our thick lamb chops. And one of the advantages of the thick lamb chop is that you can actually also braise them like this. But with the nice warm heat at the beginning of the braai, it's always nice to brown the fat first. And you want the flavor. The flavor of the fat and the oil on the coals infuses the meat. The secret now is to control the heat. As I said, if it's too close and the fat starts dripping, you get a flare up. You want it also high enough that it goes slowly. You don't want to cook it too quickly. These are thick pieces. You've got enough time to cook it, and I prefer to cook them, to braai them longer, develop better flavor. I want every side nice and crisp, and then but the inside nice and juicy and pink. Put it back in the marinade, and now I'm cooking the sides, just browning the sides, and turn the rack on the bone. What's nice about using the thick chops or something like the rack, you can also cook them on the bone like this or like this, and there the heat is transferred through the bone slowly, and you can actually leave it like that for a long time and not spoil the meat. So what I usually do with the rack is I brown it nicely and so on, and then I leave it like this on the side of the grill and do the other meat, and this can rest but still cook through the bone, but very slowly. Okay, we've done the rack. It spent about half an hour on the fire. We've crisped the fat nice and golden brown. It spent quite a bit of time on the bone side as well. And what we're going to do is cut it up now along the bones into different chops, separate chops. The rack has also been resting for about 15 minutes because it's very, very important for big cuts like this to get the juices back into the center of the meat, which has been exposed to such extreme heat. For me, the longer the better. It can cool down, or you can put it in the oven at about 80 degrees. It won't cook, it will just stay warm and rest. as you can see, the idea is to have it nice and pink, juicy, crispy outside. You've got nice and medium rare on the outside of the piece, and then to the inside you've got a much rarer situation. So those people at your table who prefer more done would take the outside pieces and the more rare pieces on the inside. So that's the rack of lamb. As you can see, nicely done, nicely pink, and the crisp fat on the outside.